Hello everyone and welcome to the RNG University. On tonight's episode, Gruul Haste. So this is a deck that I really wanted to try for a while now. I don't really like aggro decks, but it does look like a fun deck with some dimensions involved. This whole deck is about haste, and back when Gruul was still relevant in the meta, this one card here is the reason why I can never play Gruul. It's the Quirion Beast Caller, right? This card basically is the centerpiece of a lot of Gruul decks where you land it on turn 2 and your opponent, if they don't remove it, you're going to be able to buff whatever creature you play next by it dying. So incentivizing your opponent to always leave off removal, which kind of slows them down, and you can roll them over with a lot of spells or with a lot of creatures later on. But I only have one off and can never run this deck. So instead, I was able to find now a different style of deck that doesn't rely on the Beast Caller. Don't want to waste my rare cards, so this deck actually utilizes Yavimaya Iconoclast, another two-drop green creature that now comes with a red kicker for haste. And so here's the whole deck list. Basically, a lot of creatures in this deck are haste so that we can get in for immediate damage when we need to. We have 4 Kumano faces Kakuzan, of course, being a Gruul or a red deck. If we're aggro, we want to land this turn 1 and make our turn 2 creature bigger. And we have 4 Monetary Swift Sphere to get boosted. It's kind of like the mono red version as well. 4 Phoenix Chick, again, just like the mono red version, we want to be able to aggro our opponent's face. But then we have 4 Audacity to give our creature trample, to buff our creature a little bit, but also, if it dies, we get an additional card draw. So it's replacing itself. So it's like, you can think of it like play with fire, but with a card draw at the end instead of a scry. It's delayed card draw, but it's still necessary and it's still good. Then we have 4 evolving adaptive, that grows as we play more and more creature, which is pretty good, right? We want our creatures to be buff, then we can give them trample and overrun our opponent. And then the deck runs 1 Eater of Virtue, which I found to be interesting. This is basically an upgraded Bone Splitter. It's 1 mana with Equip 1 that gives our equipped creature +2/+1. But also all the keywords of the previously dead creature. So if it's equipped to a flyer and this flyer dies, our next equipper will have flying. If it's equipped to a trampler and our trampler dies, our next creature will have trample. So on and so forth. Then we have 1 Shivan Devastator, just in the air, going for a big attack if we are flooded. I have 2 Feldon. The deck runs 2 Feldon because we are really missing on card draw, so hopefully Feldon can help us fill that out. Unfortunately, I do want to run 3 Feldons, but I don't have 3 Feldons. No 3 Feldons. But I want to see if this deck is viable with just 2. If it's not good enough of a deck. And then we have 4 Kami's Flare. This card basically deals 2 damage, or 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker, and 2 extra damage if we have a modified creature, which the whole deck is full of modifying creatures, right? We got buffs, we got buffs, we got buffs, we got equipment, we got enchantment, full of buffs, full of different ways to modify our creature so that we can do that extra 2 damage. I have 1 Quirion Beast Caller, so I fit it in the slot where the last Feldon should have been, right? So if you have 3 Feldons, don't run a Beast Caller, run a 3rd Feldon. You want that haste, you want that card draw. And then I have 4 Yavimaya Iconoclast, the haste kicker that can possibly deal 4 damage on turn 3. Then 1 Squee that does 2 damage plus a 1/1 Goblin, and then we can always recycle it with. Didn't say it's escape, but it's basically escape. And then I have 4 Thundering Raiju for the finisher. Close the game off with Raiju, hit them for a big attacker, and all of our creatures are modified, so this is going to do a buttload of damage. And in the land base, we have 5 mountains, 1 Sokazin, 2 forests, 1 Boseiju, 4 Copperline Gorge. I only have 3 Karplusan forests, so there's only 3 of them here. I would recommend, if you have 4, run 4 and cut a mountain or cut a forest. Then 4 Rockfall Vale, so that we get all of those dual color lands filled in, and 2 Mishra's Foundry for our man land necessity. When we need man land, we have it in Mishra's Foundry. So that's the whole deck list, and I want to see how good this deck is. I honestly have good sort of respect, I guess. I have some good ideas about this deck. I have some good feelings about this deck, but a lot of times when you're playing aggro deck, it's really about luck. So let's hope we can get lucky, and fingers crossed. Our first opponent is Gruul, and we're Gruul, so who's gonna win? Our opponent goes first, of course. And this is actually a horrendous hand because we have one drop, but we can't play it because we somehow draw our own one, only Rockfall Veil. So I'm gonna have to mulligan this hand. Wow, it just came back. So we're gonna keep 6. I like Feldon. I'm gonna keep Feldon. I'm gonna put back an Evolving Adaptive since I'm not gonna be able to play it turn 1, and it's gonna be too slow on turn 2, I believe. Generous Visitor. Alright, we got a Forest, so we could have played it turn 1 anyways. But let us play our Monetary Swiss Sphere. Going for a little bit of damage. See what they do. Junkai Naturalist. Alright, it's a buffer. Is he going to attack? He is going to attack. So, I'm going to play the Forest. And I'm going to bait a block. Okay, so I'm going to have to kill that. Unfortunately, I don't get the modified bonus because we're going second and our opponent's ahead of us. Now it's a 3-3, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to go over that, but maybe with an Audacity. I was going to say he'll probably not attack, but he did it anyways. So, that means maybe it's better time for a Squee, and we can overrun our opponent very slowly. He's going to get the Naturalist back. Because we didn't go turn 1 with Kumano. If we had turn 1 with Kumano, this would have been a different game. Now all of his things are going to cost 1 less. And that's a good card for him to have, and nothing that we can do about. So maybe it's Feldon time, or maybe it's Audacity time. I don't think he's going to block my Squee, but... let's just make sure. Okay, there was no reaction, so maybe it's right for us to just attack, but the Generous Visitor can just block Squee this way. And that's no good. I could play the Kumano, but if I play the Kumano, he's definitely going to block the Swiss Sphere unless I play the Kumano, right? So I have to play the Kumano. But now I'm playing off curve by 1. I get to draw a card. What do I get? A land. I could play Feldon, because this will cost 3 next turn. I'll play Feldon. Because this is potentially haste with 4 damage trample. But I don't think I can get through this. There's a life linker, there's an infinite blocker, there's another restoration with a reduction. Yeah, I'm gonna leave. I can't get through this. Even with a Raiju, I cannot get through all that life gain, and I can't kill the Architect. So, opponent went first, right? That's why they won. There's only difference in that. Like I said, we need to get lucky, and we didn't in that game. Go with game 2. I honestly think this is a good deck, but like all good decks, it will lose on Arena, because Arena only incentivizes 2 types of game. Mono Red Burn and Blue Eyes Soldiers. Every other game that you play, you're going to have bad hands. Look, we're going second again. We somehow have the Rockfall Veil again, and we have no play on turn 2 with the Veil. So this is a mulligan hand again. Or I can keep Kumano and hope that I get something good. No, can't do it. This one I will keep, and I will throw back a Phoenix Chick. 2 Phoenix Chicks is too much. Alright. Our opponent's playing Voldaren Epicure, and we got another Phoenix Chick anyways. So, let's throw out the Kumano. Buff our Chick next turn. It's a forest, so we can't play a second Chick. If we draw a mountain, that would be a great hand. If we don't, this will be no fun. But right now, it kind of just looked like we're mono red burn, so maybe our opponent will play differently. Maybe they'll rope. Shadow Mare. Okay, somebody really needs to ask WotC to post their reasoning for what the go first data is. How come everyone always goes second when they're playing? Who's going first? All the streamers, all the players, they're always going second. Who's going first? I really want to know. Because that is messed up, yo. Who are all these people who always get to win because they're going first, you know? That's what I want to know. This is making me very salty. Look at that. They get to blow up on the board on us because they're going first. And we just have to take it. Still nothing. Alright, just go for the damage. I need to hold up a Kami Fleur because I only have 2 lands. This is an instant, so I don't have to play on that turn. Kami Fleur. Kill your adversary. I don't know if there's any way for him to react to that. He can kill his own adversary in response. I guess that's one way. No? Just want to trade? Okay, so he doesn't have modified creatures. Fair, but that kind of slows down their turn a little bit. I'm only playing off 2 lands, so we're kind of even as far as how screwed both of us are. So let's see. I could play an Audacity on my Monetary Swiss Sphere. I'm going to be at 5, but I can bring him to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I deal 6 damage. He'll be at 7, right? Filled out the board a little bit. He has 1 play with fire. What do you want to use it on? Okay, my Kumano, so my Audacity fizzles. I can use it still as a blocker, so I will. No lands? It's okay, I don't have lands either. At least you have kill spells. Now I have lands. I'm gonna go down to 2, which means I'll die immediately after the attack. But it's not like a squeeze meant to held back. Does he have an extra 2 damage? Because I just died. Don't hold back. Just do it. Did he draw a land? He draw a Strangle. Okay, so now I have no blockers. I got a Beast Caller. That is a blocker. And then I got a Phoenix Chick. That's just an attacker. Alright, that's a GG. Nice go first. Yeah, this is why, like, if you look at the history of Magic, there's so many aggro decks that's being played in history because when you are playing a fair game, aggro deck has a fair chance, right? But when you're playing on Arena, aggro deck doesn't really have a chance. The only way you win is by, you know, basically the shuffler cheating for you. We're gonna go first, and we only have 4 drops. The only 4 drop in the deck, and then 2 of non-creatures. So that's interesting, right? I'm gonna keep. I'm sick of mulliganing. I'm just gonna keep. It's a horrible hand, but every other hand I'll get is probably horrible anyways. Hello. Let's go for a 1-1. You want to kill it with a cut down? It's not like I have anything. There you go. We get to go first because our opponent is control. See how obvious the cheating algorithm is? It's actually disgusting. Let's trample over. Now he's gonna have a Graveyard Trespasser. No, Phyrexia and Fleshforger. Interesting. Alright, let's get a Raiju out. We'll attack with a 4/4. I don't think it matters. I don't think we can win this game. As a control deck, it's meant to go against these kind of aggro decks. And we had a horrendous start with no 1-drop, terrible 2-drop. They even run Infernal Grasp. Which, I mean, come on. And a Life Linker. Do I have a draw that can get me out of this? I don't. Alright, bye. So, it's not working, is it? This is why I like playing control decks, especially on Arena. This is from experience, right? If you're good at the game, you can only play control. You cannot play aggro because Arena actively incentivizes against that and punishes you for playing an aggro deck since you know what you're doing. The only way to play aggro decks on Arena is if you're sitting on a toilet and you just want to press one button at the same time. Every time. Look, we're going second now. When we have a good enough hand, you have to go second. 2 Copperline Gorge though, that is actually really good. They're control again. What do you know? Shipwreck Marsh. So, is either Dimir control or Esper control. Okay. Since it's Esper control, I might not want to use Feldon. I feel like Feldon's just gonna get eaten up. If that creature has greater power and toughness, so I guess I'll play the Swiss Sphere. Will this get countered? Or will they kill the Evolving Adaptive? No, he's just letting it go through. Well, this is only going to be 3 damage anyways. He has a kill spell. So 2 damage. Full on control, right? Like, full on control deck for sure. Jace!
For the sake of Phyrexia, you can be made to obey.
I can make a Shivan Devastator that's a 2/2. I don't see how that would help.
You hesitate to accept the truth.
I hesitate to accept the truth, yes. And now the field clean, and then we lose. This is deal X damage to each opponent, so it does not hit the Planeswalker at all. He's going to target my Feldon. He has 4 mana, so that's probably Wandering Emperor. He could Wandering Emperor either of these, right? So I don't know if I want him to do that. Oh, that means I can't really go over all of this. I would want him to Wandering Emperor as Shivan Devastator. It's the least threatening of all the cards in my hand, so let's just make a 3/3. There it is.
Run away. You'll be safe.
I still kill it.
This is what you get for hurting.
Your victory is an illusion, nothing more.
Is he gonna make a 2/2 or pull up a Song counter and blow up the board? Make a 2/2. So he's not gonna blow up the board this turn.
May your blade strike.
Wedding announcement? That's actually pretty good for me. My Thundering Raiju is not completely useless, or I can Monarch. Actually, Raiju is probably better. Unless it's a counter spell. He does. Alright, well, he does have a counter spell, so let's just attack this way. Giving me 2 cards. I get to choose one. Oh, and it's a Copperline Gorge. You're coming to play tapped. He has another counter spell? No, it's probably card draw from the Bankbuster. He does not have Emperor mana. Does he have another Make Disappear? He would have, like... He would have definitely played it there. It's a Void Rant, okay. Do I have 4? I don't have 4 in the graveyard. I guess if he blows the board, I have 4 in the graveyard. Otherwise, I'll just play something else. Another Bank Buster? Shouldn't you draw first? That's... I don't know. I guess you get to crew. I top deck a land. That's the last thing I wanted to top deck. Definitely can't play any of these cards, so... Bye. I only got 11, but I can't close like this. How come I only face against control decks? Or aggro decks that goes first? Because if we face against aggro decks and we went first, we would have had a better chance. Phyrexia Vindicator, thanks for the consolation prize, but it's because I'm playing Gruul and not mono red, huh? You can feel it. You can feel the push on Arena just giving you the bad cards. Make sure you don't, because we have a lot of odds and we have a lot of different ways to play the deck that could win, but we don't, because I mean this is as good of a proof as any that Arena is cheating. Kinsey skin. Kiss the skin. Ew. Our opponent goes first. We have a forest and only red spells. So now we have something. Let's put back a... No, let's put back a land. I don't need that many lands. Do I not need this many lands? Let's put back a Kami Flare. The Beast Caller. The Beast Caller. Soldiers. No? Not soldiers, but still aggro. This is probably the Esper aggro deck. There it is. Humans. And Lyra. Interesting. I can either Virtue to deal 3 damage, and I can't kill both of these with Kami's Flare, so maybe I'll play this. I mean, the Melira would just block it for free, so that's kind of pointless. What would he do? He's not going to tap his Skrelv. There's another kind of control. Bent control? Bent human? I don't know what's going on. He's attacking with the Melira, which is probably correct, but he can't block now. Shauna. That's interesting. That's a lifelinker. How do we get over the lifelinker? I don't think we can. We can Felden. We can Kami Flare, but Skrelvs will definitely protect the Shauna. And we can get over the lifelinker with just the damage we're dealing. Alright. That just kind of stops our whole gameplay. We're just gonna keep playing until we win. That's kind of the plan for today. And this sometimes happens on Arena, and I would say happens all the time on Arena, is that the decks that you try to play are frustratingly hard somehow, and you always lose to Jank. It's weird. Whenever I play Jank, I just lose every game because our opponent is only playing top tier meta decks, and our opponent is Nacho. But whenever I'm playing any style that I want to try out, here comes all of the Jank, here comes all of the aggro, here comes all different types of decks that kind of kill us. Alright, no green this time. So, I guess we'll put back an Iconoclast. What else is happening? Our opponent's Jace, which is another freaking control deck somehow. With Deserted Beach. This makes me just want to play Mono Red Burn. Honestly, like I'm playing it like Mono Red Burn, but I'm losing a lot more because the style of the deck is different. We gotta go first, so at least we got a tempo on, but this is gonna get Make Disappeared, and then our Devastator is just gonna deal 4 damage. That's pretty much all we're gonna do this turn. I mean, why is he waiting? Got a counterspell, just use it. Even worse than Make Disappear. That's our only squeeze, by the way. I think. Alright, so we got so many Swift Spheres that we can deploy. Just to get board wiped. Does he have a play? I wonder. So he's just gonna board wipe us and then we'll quit. That's a good play for today. Union. Nice life gain. Goes back up to 13. It's like we didn't even do anything. Field of Ruin. No Depopulate. Just an Emperor. Alright, Copperline Gorge, which means that we cannot use it as mana. The Wandering Emperor is going to come down, but of course it's going to come down. Is it another Union? Memory Deluge goes down to 4. If you're a control deck and you lose to this trash, you don't deserve to win. There are days when I just try out decks and it's just this kind of embarrassing show because not all decks are equal. March? Really? That was horrendous. Our opponent's game is just... I don't know what that was. It's a control deck. It's made to fight against what we have. And our hand was as bad as you can get. Alright, let's go lose another game before we quit for the day. These games do end very fast. At least we have that going. But everything else is just extremely frustrating. Somehow we only meet control opponents when we play aggro. And we're still going second. We don't have a turn 1, but at least we don't have a go first. But at least we have a turn 1. That's what I meant to say. Turn 1 Crystal Grotto. Like, what kind of a gamer are you? Alright, let's begin the game. Life. Let's begin with Beast Caller. See, this would have been a lot better if it was a Feldon. That would have been 3 damage to the face. I also thought about playing the Shivan Devastator. What was that? Do they have a -2? Is there a reason why they did that? Cut down? I mean, I guess it's cut down time. March. Okay, I guess you can do that. So I don't want to play the Evolving Adaptive here, even though it's good. The problem with that is I only have 2 red, and that only summons a 1/1 Shivan Devastator that doesn't even pump the Adaptive. Instead, we can just go in for this kick. Life of Toshiro Umezawa. Shieldred. That's pretty scary. Can I even take out the Shieldred? I don't think so. Rockfall Veil. Okay, so I guess the question is, do I want to just attack? If he blocks, then I can kill the Shieldred with Kami's Flare. Would he block though? Wouldn't he use the Shieldred to block a... This is going to be difficult. I really don't know what to do. Because if I attack with the 3-2, you would think that he'll block with the 2-3. Right? He'll definitely block with a 2-3. If he knows what's good for him. Yep. Okay, so that means we're going to play the Evolving Adaptive. And then we will play... No, let's play the Iconoclast. The Shivan Devastator is a flyer, right? That's why I wanted to play it as it has flying. But... This will cost 3, and this will also cost 3. So they're both costing 3. Now the problem is, do I want... Let's just play the... Let's just play this. Turn 1 Crystal Grotto, and we're still losing. Invoke Despair. Yeah, like, we gotta sack the Kumano, because otherwise we're gonna sack it anyway since it's an enchantment. Gain 4 life. Good job. Going first and having all the best draws. That also helps. One, two, three. We can summon this as a 2-2. Can we be any more obvious? Alright, we're at 12. We're probably gonna die next turn to another Invoke. Pass to Peril. And you know what? Bye. So yeah, that's what I feel about this deck. It's horrendously bad when the Shuffler is definitely cheating for us. I mean, if you don't think that those games were cheated, you have never played Gruul before. Because almost half the deck is the same as Mono Red Burn. If you look at this deck, right, all of these cards are the same as Mono Red Burn. Somehow we would draw it in reverse and only draw the losing cards for every matchup we're facing. We only draw these cards against Control. Again, we only draw these cards against aggro when they're going first. So we're either behind against aggro or we're drawing those 2 slow cards against Control, and that's why we lose every game. Now, that being said, I would still say that this is not good enough of a deck to really play out. I've played a lot of these games, and I can guarantee that this is probably the least fun deck that I've played so far in All Will Be One meta. And that's saying much, because I play a lot of bad decks, right? And even with the Mere Toxic, it feels like if you get to 9 and can't get to 10, it's frustrating, but you have a win con. This deck, every time we play, we're just so far away from winning, it's embarrassing. None of the cards are even going to do anything, and it just feels like it's being outrun by the opponent every step of the match. I don't know why this deck has such a high win rate on a lot of a lot of websites that I found. Not the same deck, of course. I made some edit because I don't have 3 Felden. But most of the deck that this style is recommending is more or less these same cards. The only problem is with the way Shuffler cheats us. So I'm pretty sure that if you like to play aggressive decks, and you only play aggressive decks, and the Shuffler knows that, you might have a better chance playing this deck than I have. But because the Shuffler knows that, if I just play aggressive decks like this, that they need to cheat me out of winning games, they have to change up my cards. So you see, I draw only green cards, the 2 forests with all red spells, or somehow draw the mountains and none of the green, and then they only give me the 5 green cards I have in the whole deck, right? And that's how we see every single game. If it happens once or twice, it's understandable. It's happening every game, it's suspicious. So that's all I can say about this deck. It's not good, don't play it, don't even try it. But if you want to see someone struggle, watch me play it. Alright, that's all I got for you today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.